Hello everyone. In this video we're going to talk about why you can't be around most people. And we can say narcissists, we can say toxic people. There's so many people out there who are doing these kinds of things. And it may seem innocent at first, but it's actually very dangerous. It could have detrimental effects on you and your life. And it can affect everyone around you. So it's very important that you are aware of this. These things that these people are doing. And I already know it's going to make so much sense to so many of you. So many of you are going to be able to relate to this message. So, yeah, let's get into it. Let's talk about the reason why you can't be around most people. And some of you may have been aware of it, you may not have noticed it, picked up on it just yet. But it's going to begin to become a lot more relatable to you as we dive into this message. So sometimes a person can get around you, be it a narcissist, a toxic person, a borderline, whoever it may be, and initially they are very high energy. And it can seem like they're really into you. They're such a confident person themselves, that they have so much going for them. That's how it seems initially. And you give them the benefit of the doubt, you just take them as they are. You assume, yeah, okay, this seems like a very high energy person. It seems like they really know what they're doing, they're really self-assured, very confident. And so you give them a chance. You open yourself up to them because initially you may be confused because they just come out of nowhere. It's like all of a sudden there they are. And they're mirroring back to you. It's as though they're similar to you, as though they like what you like. They're interested in what you're interested in. They're just as passionate as you are about it. And so you give them a chance, you open yourself up to them. And you open yourself up to them. And you're so excited to meet this person because the way they're portraying themselves to you is as though they really get you, they really understand. They are the solution to your problem. And really, it's just a scam, but you don't know that yet. Of course, you're the type of person who always wants to make things better. You always want to improve. And if someone's coming to you and they're portraying themselves as though they can really be the solution, they can really be there for you, they can really help you, then you give them the benefit of the doubt because you know yourself that if you're ever in that position where you feel like you can help someone, then you're just going to do it and you're not going to lie about it. You're not going to pretend to be something you're not. And so you give them a chance. You assume that they're genuine, that they really have your best interest in mind, that they really care about you, that they really have some value, they really have something to offer to you. So you give them a shot. And you're investing your emotional energy into them, your passion, your enthusiasm. They're trying to sell themselves to you like they're a product. And you hold them up on this pedestal. You give them the energy. And you think, yeah, okay, this is the person who's going to help me, who's going to be there for me, who's going to make things better, who's going to be the solution to my problems, the answer to my prayers. And I'm going to be that for them because they're also making it about me too and how wonderful I am. So you assume that you have this perfect union there, as though you're both going to complement each other. They don't really give you anything so much at first, they give you more just these promises. And later you discover it's really just lies, it's just future faking. You're not getting anything out of it. And the only exchange is one way, one-sided. It's going from you to them. It's your attention, your passion, your enthusiasm, your drive, your confidence in yourself and in them. That's being directed towards them, and you're getting nothing back in return. They have nothing to offer. They didn't target you because they had anything to offer you. They target you because they saw so much that they could get out of you. And so time goes by and you're just constantly pouring everything that you have into them, everything that they targeted you for. You're giving them all of your passion, drive, enthusiasm, confidence, emotional energy. You're pouring all of that into them. And of course, it's gradually draining you. With time, you become very tired. You become depressed. Your life just begins to lose meaning. And you may not even see any point in living anymore. And some people, they may even become suicidal. They may even try to take their own lives. Or at the very least, they will struggle to get up in the morning. They won't see any point in going to work and making money and just doing anything and go to the gym. And they may lose their appetite. They may just not want to eat anymore. Or they may comfort eat. They may eat so much and gain so much weight. So you may experience that. Weight loss, weight gain, severe anxiety, depression, immense pressure to perform, to give to them. Because it gets to a point where it's like no matter what you do, no matter how much you give, it's never enough. They're never satisfied. They never have anything to give back to you. So you're just pouring all of this energy into them, all of your confidence, all of your good qualities, and you get nothing back in return. It's not doing anything for you. And yet you're just holding on because they still portray themselves as being this wonderful person. They bring this character back now and again. And yet you're not getting anything out of this. You're not getting anything back in return. It's just draining you. And this is it, it's very draining to be around someone like this who needs all of your compliments, praise, attention, admiration. You have to see it as though they can't ever do anything wrong. And you exist just to serve them, just to make them feel better because they're always down. They're always depressed. It's very rare that they ever feel good about themselves, and even when they do, it's still just about how wonderful they are. And still, they need all of your applause, all of the celebration has to be about them. And you're just the audience, you're just the observer of that. You're just the outsider looking in. So you're constantly just watching. And that's all that you are, is just a watcher, an observer, the audience of their movie. And so you don't even have a character of your own. Your sole purpose is just to see them, hear them. So gradually you don't even know who you are anymore. And you have nothing left to sustain yourself because it's all going to them. And why is this happening? It's because they can't make themselves feel good. They're severely depressed, but at the same time they also don't want to admit it to themselves. They don't want to admit that they're broken. And instead, when they saw someone like you, they were all in. And they just put on an act. They acted like they were so happy, so excited. They feel so good about themselves. And their lives are great. That's just to pull you in. Just to make you think that they're like you. Because that's what they want from you. And of course, they know that if you're giving that out, you're going to want something similar back in return. So they pretend to be similar to you, get that from you. When really they're miserable, they're depressed. There's no meaning to their lives. They have no purpose. And many of them may have been very close to taking their own lives before they saw you. Because they have nothing really to live for. They have nothing to feel happy about. That's how, you know, by you getting involved with them, what happened? Gradually, your life lost all meaning. You lost your passion, your confidence. That spark that you used to have, it just disappeared because they drained it all out of you. Instead of you directing that to your passions, your interests, yourself, they stepped in the middle of that by acting like they're now similar or connected to your passions, your interests. They're now similar to you. So they got you to direct that energy and enthusiasm to them and make it about how wonderful they are. But actually, it's all just fake because they can't even provide anything to you. So you're just being drained. And now instead of you being involved in your passions, your interests, and all of these things, taking good care of yourself, in order to protect themselves and to avoid having to look at their own shame, how they're actually the ones who are depressed, they're actually the ones who are miserable. So now they have to make it about you, they have to devalue you. And now you no longer see any point in going to the gym, eating, or eating healthy, taking good care of yourself, being passionate about things. You no longer see any point in any of that. Or you may be a fighter. You may be strong. You don't want to give up. So you keep pushing. But the problem is, anytime that you engage in certain activities, anytime that you take care of yourself, it's met with opposition. They're very discouraging. So what can you do? I mean, if you're trying to focus on yourself, and it's met with opposition, discouragement, so you have to kind of take the lead from them. You have to follow them and whatever they think is okay for you to do. Because otherwise you just kind of implode, you become depressed. It's just they're constantly draining you. So you take the direction from them. Or if you're maybe you're more of a strong leader, a fighter. So you just keep switching it up. You try different passions, you try a different style. And of course they're constantly there giving you suggestions and acting like they're similar to you. But they're not getting as much of your attention anymore, so they're becoming more sick and twisted. They're gradually brainwashing you and dragging you down a very dark path. They're corrupting you, getting you involved in the wrong things. Smoking, drinking, doing drugs, immoral, even illegal acts. And because you're being brainwashed, you don't realize it at the time, and you become very depressed. So, like the old saying goes, a desperate man will clutch at a straw. Just anything that seems new, exciting. And they give you that. They throw out the bait. And they assume that, yeah, in that desperate kind of need, you're going to take it. Because it's like, in that moment, you may be feeling so down. You may feel like you just want to give up and just take your own life. And then they throw something out that gives you hope. Something that could fulfill you, make you feel better. And unless you've been through this yourself, it may be difficult for you to understand. But that's just it. When you're so low, and when they've drained the life out of everything, all these things you've tried, all these different passions, interests, and trying to just find some confidence in yourself, and they're oppositional to all of it. They're discouraging you in all of that. They're going against it. And then they suggest something to you. Some of you may not be able to even comprehend just how powerful that is. It's like all day, every day, you're constantly just being battered down on everything that you're trying to do. And then suddenly something that you try, even though it's completely different to anything else you're trying to hold, that's not really a good thing. But then they encourage you on it. maybe just as a coping strategy, they start drinking. And then they show signs of approval. Well, they don't even have to do that. I mean, because before that, you receive so much abuse, so much opposition. All they have to do is pull back, take away the abuse. And it's like suddenly, okay, you've got this new thing, and you can finally breathe. You can finally let go. You finally feel safe, secure. So just think about the effects that that has on your mind, training your mind gradually, just by taking away the abuse, not making it so intense, just making you think that this is better, and it will feel better because the abuse has been taken away, whatever it is. And this is how they gradually demoralize and corrupt you. This is how they do it. Even if they're not giving you the encouragement, just by taking the abuse away. And it just gradually destroys you. You become a very different person to who you were at the beginning. Because this is just it, when people are under immense stress, pressure, it becomes unbearable. They're crying in every shower. You would think that we all have it all the time. But maybe we do. Clearly, maybe it's not or we become more of a narcissist. Our lives will be so repeated in the past. So we know that doesn't sound good. So somebody sort of a narcissist will go through a very negative cycle, overcoming. What is something that they aren't going to challenge you on? Actually, what they're trying to do. And this is how they do this. And this is quite cool because this is just it. Someone's wants to get away with it. And people like this going, you don't know what you've shown in that videos. It's not the video itself. It has nothing whatsoever to do with the content. That's not what they want to do. It's human beings with their own way, their own ways. And that makes them feel weak. Someone that's not as different, you know, this is how they want you. Because that's all that it's about. It's how it's going to rise up and that's what they're going to encourage you, motivate you. But every time people change for something, because they can see that they become more confident, they become encouraged. So, for example, they encourage you without any conflict. Immediately they will challenge you, they will discourage you. But then if something wrong happens, they don't discourage you so much. They won't. They won't encourage you at all. Because that's exactly what they're trying to do, is to make you insecure. To create you to feel like you're a bad person. one moment.
Oh, that's it. It was connected to my speaker. I didn't expect that because when I did a TikTok video, it wasn't connected then. Oh well, give it a go. Okay, let's try again. I don't know if you heard any of that, but pretty much what they do is, to summarize what I just said in the last 10 minutes, they can encourage you in certain things. Because, you know, what they do is they kind of come in and they tell you that, you know, initially they make you feel good. They leave you chasing a dopamine hit. And it inspires you, motivates you, encourages you. But then they take it away and then they just tell you, oh, there's this little thing that you have to correct, you have to make it better, you have to change this. And because that high at the beginning, it was just so euphoric, you will change it. Because you assume this person has your best interest in mind, you give them the benefit of the doubt. And they seem so confident, like they really know what's best. So you change things gradually. But then, because they have this void that can never be filled, you know, they lie to you, they're actually depressed. They can't find any meaning in their lives. And they get a hit off of making you constantly change things, because it's like a TikTok video. But it's not from the content itself. That doesn't really do anything for them. People get that dopamine hit when they switch from one video to the next. So when they can change you from one thing to the next, and when they have that control over you like a puppet, they get the dopamine hit. It sends them on a power trip. So they want to keep changing things up for you. And also, what you see when you go on TikTok, you see things that are shocking. Things that you didn't expect to see. Because, you know, that's what really gets you. That's what leaves an imprint. That's what makes it entertaining. And so they want to get you to change things up in a very shocking way. But under their control, they want to be in control of it. And that's how gradually, that's what they do. They change you up in these really weird ways. And they get you into all kinds of messed up things, such as depraved, immoral acts like smoking, drinking, doing drugs, just doing things that you wouldn't normally do. Just look at Diddy and Cassie. Look at the things that he got her to do. Because this was all a dopamine hit for him. And to have that power over someone. And it's really just because they're depressed and they just feel completely powerless and helpless. They can't maybe control other aspects of their lives. So they try to control you. Or maybe they could control other things, but they just got bored of it. So now they just want to control a human. And they really get off on this stuff. It really does something for them. And not to mention how you're constantly walking on eggshells. It's the anxiety. And they want everything so quick, so fast. It's like when they say jump, they expect you to say how high. And they expect you to do it immediately. There's a sense of urgency. So you're not thinking with your logical mind. You're feeling. You're following your emotions. And unconsciously, since you've been programmed, you're just thinking, okay, what have I got to do? All right, yeah, okay, I know what I've got to do. I've got to listen. I've got to follow your commands. I've got to do what you want me to do. And of course, since you're dealing with someone who is corrupt, that could be anything. And yet you're not thinking with your logical mind because you're walking on eggshells. There's so much anxiety, stress, fear, shame. And you feel like you're drowning. Because you've been discouraged so much, you've lost all confidence or hope in yourself. And so you're just trusting in them and hoping that Well, you don't even hope it. I mean, you just have this just complete trust and devotion in them. Because they also might pick at you for that, for not being loyal, for not listening to them. And then also they like to twist things. They twist the meanings and interpretations of everything. And it's to direct you into something that is more depraved. It's to get you into the wrong things, so that they can feel like they have this sense of power and control, and so that they don't have to feel alone, because they're very corrupt people themselves. So naturally they want to corrupt you because they're envious of your light, and they feel like you're a better person than they are. And you will notice, how they never seem to encourage you on doing the right things in life, on being a good person, on getting a job or trying to get promoted, starting a business. Well, you get a lot of pushback against all of that. But then they're happy to entice you into the wrong things. Then they let go of the abuse then. Then you can finally feel comfortable. You can finally breathe. And yet, because you're constantly emotional, because that's how they want you to be, they want you to react, you're not thinking this through logically. It's only at the end, when you come out of it, that narcissistic fog, the fear, obligation, and guilt. That's when you look back and you realize how messed up it all was. And this is how this happens with victims like Cassie. While she was in it, while she was doing all of these freak-offs and everything, which, yes, as they've said, she may have consented to it, but she was thinking just emotionally while she was in it. She wasn't really thinking at all. She was just on autopilot, trying to please him out of fear, obligation, and guilt, as many of us were. And yet it's so easy for them at the end to blame and shame us, as though we had full control, as though we were autonomous, as though we were capable of making our own decisions, thinking for ourselves. Well, we weren't, because we were walking on eggshells. We didn't know when the next shoe was going to drop. But this is how they get you. And unfortunately, many people in this world do not even understand it. They don't see how you're being controlled like a puppet, how you're not able to think for yourself, make your own decisions, do what you want to do. Because anytime that you try, you're discouraged. And they get this dopamine hit from getting you to switch into something else. And especially when it's something more shocking. The more unlike the real you it is, the better it makes them feel. The more powerful they feel. It gives them this high, this sense of euphoria. And you may see this all over social media. I mean, anytime that you see anyone and they're playing a role or they post a video and it's like so unlike them, like you never expected that. It really just grabs your attention. And it makes you feel something. And of course, even more for narcissistic individuals, because they're depressed. And they're looking for something to make them feel something. And to give them that sense of power. Because remember, they've invalidated your emotions. They've dismissed them completely. They've sabotaged your confidence and self-worth. All of the conversations just turn into a power struggle. They exploit your empathy for their own gain. and your boundaries are ignored and violated repeatedly. So how are you meant to have any true sense of self? How are you meant to know who you are? You can't have your own identity because you have no boundaries to make it consistent. You've got all of this information, all of this abuse constantly coming in. And all of these things are being taken out, things that are a part of you, and not being reciprocated. So of course you're gradually going to lose touch with yourself and become something else entirely and no longer recognize yourself anymore. Of course that's going to happen. And you're going to become something that you did not want to become. Something that you never intended. And it just reinforces their control even more, because all of this happens and then you look in the mirror, you don't like yourself anymore. And they're blaming you, they're constantly telling you to follow their lead. And it really just takes you down the rabbit hole. It really does. And yet because they lack self-awareness, they don't know who they are. That's why they're so depressed. That's why they're constantly searching for meaning and validation from you. So they don't even know who they are. They separate themselves from the things that they do. They don't connect their actions back to themselves. So of course they're always going to blame you. And this is why by the end of it, what do? They play the victim. They blame you for everything. They say that it's all your fault because they don't have any connection to their actions. Or they just look at it as though, yeah, it's because you were a problem for them. You didn't make them happy. When that's just it, no matter what you did, it never would have been enough anyway. Because they were just looking to steal from you your qualities, your passions, your energy. Because they couldn't find any meaning in their own lives. And yeah, you know, the boundaries is a huge thing. If your boundaries are being violated repeatedly, you're really just having the soul sucked out of you. And this is how people become depressed. This is how people develop schizophrenic traits. Because you have something that's unlike yourself, constantly coming in and taking from you. And they're just giving you their darkness. Or just distorting everything and pulling you into all sorts of different directions. And they're just seeking that dopamine hit from doing shocking things, getting you to do shocking things. Things that are completely unlike yourself. And this is how you will know that these things are being done to you, because you feel so anxious and confused. It just doesn't make any sense to you. Because you're being gaslighted. They're distorting your memory, perception, sanity, everything. And other signs, I mean, just look at how they never take accountability for anything. Because it's all on them, it's all their fault. They had complete power and control over it all. And they didn't let you have any independence, any autonomy, nothing. So how can you be to blame for anything if you can't even direct yourself? You can't even direct your own life. Then how can you be to blame? How can you have no power, but all of the responsibility? How does that make any sense? That reveals that, yes, of course, you're dealing with someone who's disordered, who just completely lacks self-awareness and wants all of the power over you, but no accountability. That's what that reveals. And especially when they isolate you from people and they sabotage anything that you're doing, anything that you're trying to accomplish, your passions, your interests. And then they gradually become your only source of influence. And also you're taught not to trust yourself, not to be confident in yourself. So you're taking all of the cues from them. And yet they're blaming you for what you create, for what you do. How does that make any sense? And yet gradually you begin to lose trust in yourself more and more because they're still blaming you until you just give them complete power and control over everything. And despite that, I mean, in the middle of it, you may assume that I just have to give them more power. I need to give them more access, more control. And then eventually they'll realize, that they are the ones doing this. But no, even if you give them total power and control over everything, in the end, once they've drained you, they're still going to turn around and blame you. They're not going to take accountability for any of it because they lack self-awareness. And they're trying to become you, who you were at the start. They don't see themselves as they actually are. And this is why, they always want everything to be open with you. You've always got to be honest, completely vulnerable, open, so that they can just gain access and use you. And, they make it seem like it's good for you, but it's really not. Because you are letting a very evil person come close to you. And, this is someone who clearly doesn't even care about themselves because, of course, if you're feeling down, if you're depressed, if you have issues yourself, you're going to want to go within and do something about it rather than using someone else to medicate yourself without any care or concern for them. So, of course, they're not going to care about you. And they're going to want to create things in you that reflect their own darkness, their own depravity, immorality. And of course, that's exactly what they do. Because think about it. Why would any good person manipulate you, groom you, lie to you, future fake, abuse you, devalue you, isolate you? No good person would do any of those things. And yet, they try to warp you. And it's almost like they're trying to make it out as though that's what you're doing to them. This is why by the end of it, they lie to you. And they say that you're not who you were at the beginning, as though you're fake, as though you're the one who did that to them. They switch it around in you. They call you the narcissist, you the abuser. You are the manipulator. You're the one who groomed them. You're completely different to how you were at the beginning. And of course, you do become different because you were around them. And yet, because they lack the self-awareness, they can't even see that in themselves. It's crazy, but this is what they do. And if you let them, they will drive you crazy. They can drive their victims into a mental institution, make you homeless, make you feel like you're losing your mind, make you not want to live anymore, make you feel like you're just so worthless that what's even the point? This is what they can do. And you could be the most motivated, confident person. It doesn't matter. In fact, the more confident you are, the more ammunition you're giving them. Because when you get around them, you're just giving all of that confidence, passion, and enthusiasm to them. So that's just more ammunition that they can use against you. It's more of a drop for them when they kick you off that pedestal. So then you're really going to feel it. So the answer is not to have more confidence. It's not to be more motivated or have more energy or anything like that. And many of you may have noticed that the harder you tried, the more you poured into it, the worse that it got and the more power they had over you, because you were investing all of that into them. So essentially you were draining yourself at that point. But yeah, this is how this happens. And it's why people like this, they're so dangerous to be around. You need to be around people who are actually similar to you for real. People who aren't just looking for a lifeline. People who already have some level of passion, happiness, excitement. They already have some level of things going on in their own lives before they even get involved with you. And it's real. It's generated from within. It's not dependent on how people see them. And of course, we have to look at people's ethics, morals as well, because someone's got to be really messed up to think that that's okay. To manipulate someone, groom them, devalue them, make them think that they're the ones who are crazy, they're the ones who are no good, but you're there to help them. I mean, that's really bad when you think about it, how someone can even do that. How they can twist it around and make you think that it's you. But this is what they do. And I can tell you, this is a pattern of behavior that I've noticed throughout my entire life. Everyone that I've dealt with, I came into it with so much passion, so much enthusiasm, so much love. And gradually, by the end of it, it was all drained out of me. I came into it so confident that I could help this person. And then by the end of it, I was depressed, ready to give up on my life. Well, as for them, they became more and more cocky, more and more arrogant, and just thinking that they're the best thing ever, that they're so much greater than me. Have you ever noticed this pattern in your life? Where you come into something with so much drive, so much enthusiasm, and by the end of it, you just feel like giving up. Well, as for the other person who you're giving all this confidence to, they become more arrogant, even though they're not doing anything for you. It's like you're just building them up. You're creating a monster. Have you ever noticed this pattern in your life? Let me know in the live chat. Let people know that they're not alone. Geneva Cordoba says they can be dangerous. The very last time I saw him, he said to me, bang, bang. Yeah, sometimes they might make these physical threats, but not only that, it's like a slow death. It's like the boiling frog syndrome. They gradually turn up the heat. And they make you feel like you're with someone who can give back equal value. So you're open, you're vulnerable to them, and you're giving out and gradually being drained. And they're discouraging you from doing anything that gives you confidence, gives you meaning. Because of course, any confidence or meaning you find outside of them takes away that desire, that yearning to get any of that from them. It takes you away from them. It takes away their control. So gradually you end up losing all meaning in your life, other than possibly what they could give to you. And you become depressed. You don't see any point in living. This is what they do. And it's all because they need your validation to make them feel better. They need to get that dopamine hit from you. And because this isn't so commonly understood just yet. Honestly, I wonder how many people have been driven into a mental institution, been driven homeless or to suicide through the use of these tactics, where people pretend to be similar to you and then they groom you to provide them with this validation when they're nothing like you, and you're open, you're vulnerable, you're being run into the ground, and you're not allowed to have anything, no independence, autonomy outside of them, no sense of meaning. You can't be passionate about anything because it takes away that sense of control and you lose everything. And then all you're left with is this person. Maybe you still think that they can be good for you, that they can change, or that they're doing something for you. But no, you're still just gradually being drained. And yeah, you feel like you're just lost in time. You don't really know who you are anymore. You don't know where you are. Time is just gone. It's just timeless. Because they don't want you to look back. They don't want you to see where you came from. Because if you do that, you're going to notice you haven't taken any steps forward. It was one step forward, 2 steps back. And at this point, you've taken 100 steps back. This is why it's almost like you just lose touch with the past. And you may have hope for the future, but it's all based off of them. When they're just liars, they can't do anything for you. And everything you've given to them is not ever going to come back. Because they're not on your level, they're not similar to you. They don't have that confidence, that drive. They don't have that ability to produce like you do. They just pretended like they do to get around you and extract that from you. And so you put all of your faith into them, when really you should never have done that. You should have continued having that confidence in yourself. But they got you to invest it into them just by acting like they were similar to you. And this is really the danger, of giving people the benefit of the doubt and assuming that they are similar to you when they're not. It's extremely dangerous to give people the benefit of the doubt, to just assume that they are like you. It can just ruin everything for you. And you end up just thinking that they're a better you than you. That's how it leaves you thinking by the end of it, because they just screw you up so bad. And you can't even think straight. The only thing that you can do is feel, because they encourage that. Because that's what gives them that hit of dopamine. That's what makes them feel validated. Steady Pace says they want you to give up on God, spiritual warfare. I think that's definitely a part of it, because, deep down they know the things that they do. They know that they're horrible people, so, why would they believe in God? Or even if they do, why would they think that God would ever protect them? And that's why they just work for the devil. Their job is to bring people down, demoralize them, and control them, take them to a very dark place, and just gradually destroy them. That's their duty. And that's how you know they're not of God. Because if someone is of God, they are going to encourage you. They're going to lift you up. And they're going to give you whatever energy they have left. Whatever they have, they're just going to pour it all into you. That's what someone of God will do. course, that's what we did. That's what we all did. We all did that for them. We were all very open, vulnerable. We poured everything into them. And, you know, it's a lesson. It's something that we shouldn't have done for them. You shouldn't pour into anyone who can't pour back into you. Because of course, you know, where's that going to leave you by the end of it? You're just going to be sacrificing yourself, and for what? Just to keep one person afloat temporarily? Because they can't even sustain it. And if you just poured it into yourself, you could have helped so many more people. So essentially, it's not just you, but you sacrifice the well-being of so many people just for the greed, the selfish desires of one person who doesn't even care about you. And this is why there should always be mutual care, mutual respect. Matt Smith says eventually the behavior catches up with them as they lose their looks. I mean, it's catching up to them already anyway. I mean, you know, the fact that they have to go down that path. They can never find any joy in doing good. Because deep down they know they're not good people. They know that it's all a lie. So that comes with a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress. And you'll know they're going through that because that's what they put onto you. You can't even think straight. You can't even see clearly when you're around them because they don't want to be exposed. But yeah, you're right. You're right, Matt. I mean, with time, these people do gradually lose their looks. And actually, I was just saying to someone yesterday, you know, I'm 36, and you know, a lot of people, I myself as well, I don't think that I look 36. And it's not just taking care of myself externally, but it's also how I feel inside. So I just naturally feel good about myself. And I'm very positive, optimistic. I don't wish anything bad on anyone. And so, you know, definitely when you live without that bitterness, resentment, you're definitely going to look much more youthful. But as for them, I mean, you know, they're very bitter, very vengeful. Nothing's ever good enough for them. They're always blaming people. They've always got a vendetta. Someone like that, they can never be at rest. They can never experience peace. So of course, you know, gradually with time, it does show on them. And yeah, I mean, you know, I've seen it in my own family. I mean, people like this, it's like, by the time they're even just 30 years old, they're already looking old. Especially by the time they're 40. And I myself, I mean, I hope that I will stay youthful even into my 50s. Of course, you know, once you get into your 60s, you're going to start to, you know, that's when everyone really starts to age by that age. But, you know, if you live a healthy life and you do good things, you have good intentions for people, then you should remain looking youthful into the end of your 50s, I would say. And especially, you know, with the healthcare and technology today. I mean, who knows Who knows where we will be by the time we age? We have no idea how much technology will evolve over the next few decades. So there could be all sorts of options available to us. And it may not be like how it used to be. We could be living for hundreds of years for all we know. Kate says, OMG, I don't want to be someone's drug. Yeah, that's just it, isn't it? And it's like they become our drug. You know, they leave us chasing after that dopamine hit, and we become like junkies ourselves in many ways. But it wasn't that way before. I mean, we were looking for a connection. And, you know, initially they may have given us the oxytocin, the love hormone, but then gradually they took it away because they're not interested in that. They are dopamine junkies. And oxytocin, that's a different kind of drug, that is, because that leaves you feeling full. But the dopamine, it's very cheap. It doesn't last long. And it's like the ego, it always wants more. What leaves you always wanting more. But yeah, these types of people, they are absolutely miserable. There's no joy in their lives. It may look like there is. It may look like there is more than anyone else that you've ever met in your entire life. When you first meet them, it's like, they can seem like the happiest people you've ever seen. Like they've got everything together. But that's just all an act for you. It's to make it believable, convincing to you, so that you will then invest your emotions. That's all that is. And think about it, you know, no one's always up, no one's like just always happy. And you got to think, you know, why are they so happy to be near you? You know, that's where the excitement is coming from. They're just so excited to be near you because they can see they're about to eat, they're about to consume. And that's how you got to look at it. And you got to think, you know, why have they got to put on such an act? Why have they got to look like everything's perfect for them? Because I don't have to do that. I could just come on here raw. Of course, you know, I do try to take care of myself. I try to present myself well. But you know, I'm not going to get on here and act like I'm always feeling good. But saying that, I will say is that naturally on my own, you know, without constant external influence, without all of these toxic people around me and gang stalkers and sociopaths and all of that, without those people, I do feel good pretty much all the time. I really do. But, you know, that's because I put in the work. I've come a long way on my healing journey, and I've spent thousands of hours researching, learning about things, making content. And I've done all kinds of different detoxes, meditations. I've had spiritual awakenings, everything. You know, I work really hard. So, and, you know, to find meaning and to motivate myself. And I'm always looking for new things. So, and also I decalcified my pineal gland as well. So there's so many different things that I do. And, you know, that's how you see I can do these live videos over an hour every day and other videos as well. so consistently. And at the same time, I'm doing all sorts of other things that you don't see behind the scenes, such as I'm traveling everywhere and taking care of Nala, going to the gym several days a week, traveling to all sorts of places, editing the videos. I was editing one today. That was about 5-6 hours this morning already. So yeah, I do a lot of things, and I receive, a lot of hassle from people, gang stalkers and toxic people. But I myself, genuine. I am highly motivated, naturally, highly driven, super positive, super optimistic, pretty much all the time. And it really takes like a full day of being around toxic people to, by the end of the day, leave me feeling drained. Because, that's just how I am as an empath. I do feel drained by the end of the day. But when I wake up in the morning, I am really motivated, ready to go. Every day of the year. And of course I should be, to be a coach, to do what I do, to be Narc Survivor. But this is definitely a big part of what made me this way. This is my purpose. It's what keeps me going as well. But don't worry, if it's not like that for you yet, you are on a journey. And just watch high vibe content, music, just things that lift you up, things that make you feel good. And people who are also motivated, optimistic, people who will drive you and especially process these emotions as well. Don't be afraid to admit, I'm feeling down, I'm not happy. I don't feel good right now. It's okay. Because, that's just it. What you resist persists. You've got to accept it. You've got to notice that it's there. And then you can change it. This is the problem with these people, is that they're miserable, they're depressed, they hate themselves, but they don't want to accept it. But it's like they don't get it. The moment that you do accept it, everything changes. But they can't see it though. They can't see what's over the mountain until they climb it first. And you've got to go through it. You've got to experience the pain. And then you can see what's on the other side. But it's just so much shame for them, and they don't want to face it. I get it. It is hard. And I'm sure it is, especially for them. But you just have to go through it. And once you do, life is so beautiful. It really is. And well, you know my story. It wasn't like that for me before. Like in 2017, I didn't have all this energy back then. I wasn't so motivated back then. I wasn't so happy. I wasn't so full of life. I was miserable. And I had no confidence in myself. I hated myself. I hated my life. I just felt like I'm completely worthless. But like I said before, that wasn't really me. Those were projections from other people. And of course, it's the same for you. This stuff was projected onto you. Where did it originate? Who knows? Who knows where this sickness came from? But what you need to know is that it's not yours. It's not even really yours. If you don't feel good, if you feel down, those aren't your real feelings. But unfortunately, you have to accept it as though it is. You can't put it onto someone else. Even though, at some level, it's not really yours, it doesn't really belong to you. You still have to own it. You have to be like, yes, this is mine. I've got this. Because as soon as you do, then you have the power to change it. If you keep putting it onto someone else, you can say, oh yeah, someone else said or did this to me. That's why I'm this way. That's why I'm so mad. That's why I'm so down. You are externalizing your power. All you have to do is own it, and then you have the power to change it. You can say, yeah, okay, this is mine, so I can change it. I can do something about it. And that's the secret to it. And that's why I'm this way, is because I own it. Of course, it becomes a problem when you are being, when you're being ambushed from all sides. I mean, you can't own all of it at the same time. And of course, that's where it becomes an issue with gang stalking. And you just need to spend as much time alone as you can. Of course, you know, those who are going through gang stalking, of course, it's much easier said than done with that, because you are being ambushed from all sides. And you can't own everything. You can't own the entire universe and be God. But that's another story. I mean, you know, I've mentioned that before, how people who are being gang stalked are chosen ones. You're sent from the Creator. And that's how you get ambushed from all sides. And it's like, you have to take on everything. You have to be God. It's like, that is your position. But it goes way deeper than that. And, you know, we will explore those topics later as well. Because I know many of you are interested in these kinds of things and you want to know more, especially about chosen ones, gang stalking. I mean, I've seen, you know, there really is a hunger for those types of topic on this channel. So I will be coming in with so much more of that very soon. Matt Smith says, people tell me I'm aging backwards lately. Oh, definitely. You know, if you've gone away from a narcissist, you will be aging backwards. It's like when you're with them, it's like, you know, you can feel and look old then. I remember I did myself. And when you get away from them, you just develop this new glow and you have so much more energy. You just feel so much better when you get away from them. Eddie Wynn says, cheap dopamine. Yeah, that's just it. You know, it's not sustainable, and they have to be like leeches, parasites, or we do too. You know, if we're like TikTok addicts, you have to be like a parasite on TikTok. But this is how you know that you're not just like dependent on dopamine, is that you're able to watch long form content. You don't have a short attention span. So if you've been watching this video now over 1 hour, you know, this has nothing to do with dopamine. This is about connection. This is going deep. And that's what you should be craving, is, you know, something deeper, something that actually has real meaning, substance, depth. And, you know, if you can watch videos for over 1 hour long and you're really learning, you're getting something out of it, you're picking people's brains, you're definitely on the right path. And, you know, it's not all about being a brain box. It's not all about, you know, you got to get the right information from, you know, only has to be a doctor or a scientist. I mean, sometimes, yeah, you know, it is good to get the right information, but also explore different perspectives. You know, things that make you feel something, that make you feel connected, that gives meaning. And, you know, I think that's what's most important. I mean, of course, yes, know the facts, but also you want to have something that makes you feel passionate. It's not all about knowing everything. And of course, you know, just imagine how boring this world would be if we did know everything. And thankfully, you know, we live on a relatively small planet. in the depth of this ocean that is our galaxy, in a vast universe. And so there's so much mystery, and that's what makes it exciting. That's what gives you space to dream and imagine. So yeah, it's not all about always having the facts and the statistics. But you got to remember, we are emotional creatures, and at the same time, our emotions really have practically nothing to do with reality. So yeah, this is how you can have all of the information, all of the facts, and still feel down. And that's just it. If you ever see a doctor, a psychologist, or a scientist who is happy, who is full of life, it's because they don't feel like they know everything. It's because they're not all about research, facts, statistics, but they also have a sense of childlike wonder. And that is what makes life worth living. So this message is really just to empower you and pull you out of the rut that you may be in from dealing with these types of people. Because I know what it's like, I'm still going through it myself. And, I believe that I've been blessed for a reason to share this light with the world. Doesn't mean I didn't have to go through the darkness to get there. But for whatever reason, I made it out. I keep going. That's why I believe, this is my mission, to motivate you, to keep you going. Just looking through all of your supportive comments. And also, what I will say is, dopamine isn't completely bad. And even watching short TikTok videos, I post them myself. And, my short videos on YouTube, they get thousands of views every day. So, I wouldn't post something if I felt like it would harm someone, at least not without making them aware of it. But that's just it, So many things in this world will harm you to some degree. And sometimes it's just what you need, you need that bandage to be ripped off so that the wound can finally breathe and heal. So that can be the case sometimes, and also everything in moderation. Like that cheeseburger, that vegan cheeseburger from McDonald's. It may not be good for you, but it's kind of like if you weigh the risk and the reward, it just feels good. You feel better once you've had it. And even if you do feel a little bit of guilt afterwards, that can then push you into having a healthier meal next time. So it's not all bad, you know. Enjoy the dopamine. Use it to your advantage. Find pleasure in it and enjoy the short film videos as well, to some degree, in moderation. Have a balance with it. Don't overdo it. And don't let the wrong people be in control of it. So, yeah, that's how I want to finish this video. Not to discourage anyone so much from just entirely, you know, avoiding short videos altogether. As I said, you know, have a balance to it. And, you know, also, you know, whenever we attach negative emotions to something, fear, guilt, shame, like I said, you know what, you resist persists. And that could end up controlling you even more. So I want to finish this video on that note. Thank you all for your support. And if you would like to show your support, you can give the video a thumbs up and drop a comment down below. Share your thoughts on this topic and let me know if you have any questions. If you are new here, subscribe and hit the bell icon to be notified when I go live again or upload a new video. If you would like guidance to support your healing journey, you can book a one-on-one with me by going to narcsurvivor.co.uk. I appreciate all of your donations, no matter how small. Donate by going to paypal.me/narcsurvivor. And you can follow me on Instagram. It is Narc Survivor YouTube. And also check out the Narc Survivor Facebook group. So that's it for this one. Thank you all from me and Nala. You have a great day wherever you are. And there will be another video up in about 5 hours, a pre-recorded video. I'm just going to finish editing it today. It's a really great one. Thank you all, and I will talk to you very soon.